Hello, I'm Coach Frank Allocco, and today I'd like to speak to you about a greater purpose. I first met John Stein on a basketball court in 1977. He was just 15 years old, and he immediately impressed me with his competitive spirit and his team first attitude. He was the ultimate teammate, a guy you wanted to play alongside. He was a man who always looked to make others better, an unselfish player who always sacrificed for the good of the team. John and I hit it off instantly that day, and we began a friendship that would last for 30 years. John was a goal setter. In his early years of high school, he developed a burning desire to attend the University of Notre Dame. He worked hard, totally immersing himself into his studies and the creation of his leadership skills. And I can still recall the happiness and the excitement in his voice when he called to tell me that he had fulfilled his dream. He was accepted at Notre Dame. I remember him working as a coach at the first XL basketball camp. He was 20 years old, but he had the enthusiasm and the thirst for knowledge of a 10-year-old. And for 25 years, no matter where he was or what he was doing, he always made time to come back and work at camp, where he would continue his tradition of sitting in the first row during the afternoon lectures and taking notes on everything that was taught. John loved the camp's theme of the winning edge, and he ultimately became the embodiment of our message of using time wisely, valuing repetitions, and becoming a leader through the elevation of others. John took special pride in conducting our defensive station each week. In fact, he spoke of defense as the ultimate way to show your friends how much you care by always being in position when someone needs your help. He came to camp each day on a mission. He was ready to push himself and others to be their best. I can remember him challenging kids by saying to them, I want you to go the whole day today, through this entire camp, without using your right hand. And other times he would say, I challenge you to win both games today without taking a shot. Your goal is to elevate your teammates by setting them up and putting them in position to succeed. John followed his own words and elevated his game off the court as he became a Dean's List student at Notre Dame who would earn the opportunity to attend Loyola Medical School in Chicago, where he would pursue his desire to become an orthopedic surgeon. However, at Loyola, John believed he had a special calling, and he changed direction and migrated toward oncology. Years later, Dr. Stein said, I think I picked oncology primarily because of the unique challenges in taking care of patients. After medical school, John began his residency at the Keck School of Medicine at the University of Southern California. He was truly blessed and truly appreciative of this opportunity as he got to work and study under the legendary urologist, Dr. Donald Skinner. John proved to be an amazing doctor in his own right. He was driven, inquisitive, a master surgeon who was also obsessed with research and creating innovative techniques to save lives. Dr. Stein developed many innovations in medicine, but his greatest was developing a technique for reconstructing the bladder in patients who had lost that organ to cancer. He built a neobladder using part of the patient's intestine, and this was a serious breakthrough that vastly improved the quality of life for bladder cancer survivors. In fact, his mentor, Dr. Skinner, said, this innovation revolutionized bladder reconstruction in women. John was committed to his passion to save lives. He was motivated by his mission to make a difference. and he was challenged by his professional goal to succeed his mentor, Dr. Skinner, as chair of the urology department at the Keck School of Medicine. John was like another son to him. Their work together created revolutionary procedures that saved thousands of lives each year. Dr. Peter Scardino, the chairman of the Department of Surgery at the world-famous Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City, referred to John as a marvelous surgeon to watch. Quick, highly adept, with extraordinary hands. He had a great sense of the organization of an operation and the flow of it. He concluded his assessment by saying, "I never knew anyone better than John Stein." John followed in his mentor's footsteps, and he became a great teacher and example to his interns. I fondly recall the almost daily lunchtime phone calls from him when I was coaching at Northgate High School, his alma mater. He would introduce me to the students, and then he would ask me about the team. And then at the conclusion of his call, he would say, "I was up this morning at 5 a.m. reading medical journals. I was trying to gain the winning edge in my quest to become the best researcher, surgeon, and model I can possibly be." John was as multi-talented a doctor as one could possibly be. However, his greatest skill was compassion. In a profession that frowns on personal relationships, he earned the adoration of his patients who valued his humanity as much as his expertise. John often prayed with them. He would sit by their side when they cried, and he would joke with them to relieve their fears. John operated to the sounds of Beethoven, only fitting for his operating room patients to experience two masters at their craft. I last visited with John on Sunday, April 6th, 2008. He was energetic and hopeful as we said goodbye that evening with what neither of us knew would be our last hug. 3 days later, he flew to Florida to speak at the American Association of Genitourinary Surgeons Conference. Already showing symptoms of the cold or flu, he arrived in Florida late that night after multiple delays caused by airline problems. When he met Dr. Skinner for breakfast on Thursday morning, he told him he didn't think he had the strength to give his address to the attendees. Dr. Skinner saw his weakened condition, and he rushed him to the hospital. John never knew that he had a rare blood condition called Clarkston's disease that had escalated his symptoms and ultimately led to dangerously low blood pressure and the organ failure that became the catalyst for his untimely passing. In an amazing twist of fate, as he was being moved to surgery, he was informed that he had achieved one of his goals, as that morning, he had been named the new department chair of the Keck Institute. After his passing, Dean Carmen Pugliafito remembered John as what every dean of a medical school could want in a faculty member. He described John as a dedicated clinician, a state-of-the-art surgeon, a great innovator, a scientist, and a terrific role model who touched the lives of thousands and saved many lives. I attended John's funeral service at the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary Catholic Church in Pasadena. After the service, I sadly mingled amongst a packed crowd of family, friends, strangers, all of us united by the touch of a unique healer. And as I introduced myself and asked people of their relationship to John, I was greeted by a similar response from everyone I met. He saved my life. He saved my mother's life. He saved my daughter's life. Santa Monica resident Paul Scott, who credited Dr. Stein with saving his life after being diagnosed with bladder cancer, said, "When you're thinking about dying and your life is just in turmoil, here is this man who takes your hand in his and looks you in the eye and says, 'You're going to be okay.'" He was just the kindest guy. Now a leader in the electric car movement, Scott added, "I owe him so much." I have the pleasure and the honor to remember Dr. Stein each week at camp as we present the Dr. John Stein Best Defensive Player Award. I enjoy the chance to memorialize my friend, a young man with a dream, a lifelong learner who grew to be a man of passion. John's acceptance to that call to a greater purpose made a difference in the lives of all he embraced, as his compassionate touch gave them hope, and his incomparable skills gave them health. Keep listening, keep learning, and strive to be your best. And remember, excellence doesn't take days off.